So here today we're at Cape Bernard Correctional Center, and we've got a couple dozen inmates who could potentially be commuted.
In 2017, Oklahomans passed on the ballot to change the laws and sentencing for low-level, minor nonviolent drug offenses.
To have my sentence commuted from being a felony to now being a misdemeanor, it's a real blessing.
To go home and start my life again for the second time.
Because it's going from a 20-year sentence to a 1-year sentence, so it's awesome.
I'm incarcerated for possession of controlled substance.
I'm in for knowingly concealing stolen property, which now is a misdemeanor. As of last year, it was a misdemeanor November 1st, but this year they're retroacting it for people that are already incarcerated. And that's what the 1269 bill is.
The law suggests that instructs the Pardon and Parole Board to hold a single stage commutation hearing. And the day that goes into effect, that's what we'll do. And there's about 900 inmates that are eligible for consideration. But eligible does not necessarily mean that they will be released, nor does it mean that they will be recommended. And so that's where we look at the conduct of the inmates in prison. And if you have clean conduct, you'll get a recommendation for commutation. But there's also inmates that have detainers. They're wanted in other states or maybe by federal authorities. They won't be released. We'll shorten their sentence if they have good conduct, and then they will be handed over to another state. So they won't be released either. Some people may have a consecutive sentence. So eligible, right, is one concept, then recommended is another, and then released is the smallest number of the three.
I'm here for simple possession. I caught a meth charge. It was a very small amount, and it led to me being here. There was a lot of hope. There was a lot of nerves, anxiety on wondering whether it was going to come through or not. And then when it finally did, it was kind of like a dream come true. I'm going to go home to my kids. First of all, I have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. Really excited to get home to them. I most look forward to being able to be with my grandmother and be able to be with my children. Spending time with those who matter.
I got charged with possession of CDS when I was 23, 16 years ago. I completed drug court, and I've been to prison 3 times on it because I was unable to pay on my fines.
I was on drugs. They thought it would be a good idea, I guess, to sign this check that didn't belong to me. I bought a purse for $27. That's it. $27 got me 7 years.
I know you said you had to come back even 3 times because of failure to pay fines and fees. Can you talk to us about what that struggle? I know that's a struggle for a lot of people.
It's really tough because actually when I first got my fines, they equaled about $4,000. And anybody can go on and look at and track what I've paid. I've already paid over that amount, but I still owe 3 times that amount. When I would miss a payment, they would tack $500 onto each case that I would have, which would make it impossible for me to do. I had 4 daughters trying to pay rent being a single mom, and what did I do? Did I take from my kids? Or, and then whenever my mom had my kids, I had to pay child support, so it was either go to jail for not paying child support or go to jail for not paying on my fines. And when I would go to jail, I would lose my job and have to start all over, so it's really a struggle.
Drug addiction.
Yeah, I have.
Would you be willing to tell us about that?
Since I was 19, I tried it for the first time, and I think it was a big deal, but I've been off and on ever since. I'm planning to go home, find a job, and do what I can to make these people not sorry that they let me out,
We don't want to just release them and say, there you go, have a happy life. We want to give them the opportunity to successfully re-enter society and have a great job, educational opportunities, be reunited with their families, and give them the support they need. And Oklahomans have stepped up all over the state to offer the support that we need with jobs, education, drug rehabs, transitional homes, you name it. And they've worked great with the DOC. The DOC has been working night and day to make sure that the proper people are being released, but also that they're connecting them with the right opportunities.
The response from the nonprofit community has really been incredible. We just told them about what we were going to do, and they just showed up on their own. And that's what happens when you talk about what you're going to do and you let them in, and you know that that they're here to help, and they see the same problems that we deal with. And they know how to help. I mean, these are folks that are out in their communities each day. They know the challenges that people who come out of our system face, and they know how to connect them with what they need. They have evidence-based services. They also know other resources in the community they can connect people with. It's incredible to see them just jump at the gun like this to come help. And frankly, we're not surprised that they did that, because that's why they do what they do.
This is something else. It's to provide the resources for people to change, providing a resource for people to stay out of prison, to stay out of our criminal justice system.
This is a really good opportunity. It's a real blessing that everyone has chosen to come together like this for us. It's nice that people have so much hope in us.
But I have a job, some jobs waiting already, so just go home and get on with life and put this behind me, mostly.
I'm going to go home and be a grandma to my grandbaby and a mom to my kids. Do the best I can to take care of myself and love my family.
Did your addiction have something to do with the crime, or would you be willing to tell us about
Yes,
it?
that's so funny that you asked this. My father and I had the same name, and I've already made amends to him, but I stole his money, and I wrote checks to go gambling to get drugs. And so he said, my number is a 497 number for DOC, so I should have been in prison 20 years ago, but my father kept me out. And so this time he said that she needs to pay for the consequences of her actions. And so, but I've made amends to my father for stealing his checks and using them for gambling and drugs. And so that's what I'm paying my debt to society for.
The law is simple possession. The ones we're considering first are that's the only crime that is keeping them in prison. And so those are the ones we're dealing with first. The next group will be they have possession, but they also have other crimes and felonies that they have to serve time for. We'll look at those, and then the last group we'll look at is possession is just one of many crimes, and it won't make any difference in their incarceration level. But we're going to work our way through all those inmates and look at and handle and implement an accelerated single-stage commutation for them on the eligible charges only.
There's been a great collaboration with the attorneys to make sure that we're releasing the right people, that it's the right qualifications. The law was set by Oklahomans. We want to make sure we do our job that we're releasing the right people.
We hope that this whole new process where they can get parole, where they can get commutation, that this whole new process leads to better conduct, shorter sentences, and the system gets healthier, and that inmates get a better chance to redeem themselves and successfully re-enter society.